I will call to order the Finance Committee Wednesday, November 12th. We are right on schedule, just after 8:30. First item on the agenda is receipt of reports. I'm going to take the first two together, the accounts paid report for the period ending September 30th, 2025, and the executive summary financial report for the period ending September 30th, 2025, nicely prepared by Janice Salerno and her team. Any comments or questions from my fellow commissioners or from staff? Commissioner Rappaport.
Um, yeah, I think somewhere I have listed as page 9. I don't have it in front of me, but there was a chart about asset activity cost by month and year. And I was trying to figure out what that was referring to and cost to whom for what. I don't know. Just can you translate that, please?
Miss Salerno?
Hi. So what was it? Which fund was it for?
Well, I'm trying to remember now. All I have listed on my notes is page 9. So I think it was probably executive summary, page 9. I don't know.
And the question was about assets?
There was a chart, asset activity cost.
Was that for the asset management activities that are underway?
Well, as I say, I don't have it in front of me. So beyond that, I just couldn't figure out what that was referring to.
All right. If you,
we can do that.
I was going to say, or either that, if perhaps later in this meeting, or you could even bring it up with a finance report at the legislative meeting next week.
Okay, or
Always
offline. Yeah, thank you. Sorry about that.
Sure.
Okay, not seeing any other questions or comments. All in favor of accepting those two reports, account paid report and the executive summary financial report, say aye.
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 Thank you. 1C, Finance Officer Report, October 2025. Mark Lieberson has, just as in the past, given us his detailed information. It's attached to the agenda. Any questions or comments, or any statement from Mr. Lieberson? I saw he was on.
Yeah, thank you, Dan. I just want to introduce Melvin Pitts. Mel's someplace here. I saw him. He's a gentleman who won the election last week to succeed me starting in January. There he is. I'll be formally introducing him at the next week's meeting, commissioners meeting. And as I said all along, I plan to be working with him over the next month and a half. Hopefully get an easy, seamless transition. And talk more about that next week. Anyway, any questions about that or the report? Melvin waved there. And
I don't see any questions, but a big, on behalf of all the commissioners, Mark, a big thank you to you and the work that you've done for us and for the township for the past 4 years. Thank you very much. And Melvin, congratulations to you, and we look forward to working with you. And you have some big shoes to fill, but we're very confident that with Mr. Lieberson's assistance in the transition, you will have no trouble stepping into those shoes.
Absolutely. Thanks, Dan. Thank you all. I appreciate it. Thanks, Mark, most importantly. I appreciate all your assistance in trying to make this a smooth transition. Appreciate you.
you're welcome.
All those in favor of accepting the finance officer report, say aye.
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 Thank you. 1D, Information Technology, October 2025. Mr. Rubin, you also have your usual exemplary report attached to the agenda. Do you have any comments?
Yeah, so I think actually I quickly pulled it up. I think Commissioner Rappaport, you were talking about my report there. What you're seeing is some information coming from asset management. So what that means is that I can associate every device in our township to a department, and then associate any time and materials being spent on those assets to a department. So it kind of gives you a little bit of a breakdown of what does it cost, materials and time to do the IT work in those departments, as well as what it is the labor hours per task. So just some different reporting coming out of asset management.
Ms. Solano, you're off the hook. Commissioner Rappaport was just trying to stump you. And
No, the truth of the matter is my arrow
I was
coming
very
from the
confused.
wrong
I feel
place.
better.
I feel better too. I'm sorry about that.
No, and
Mr. Rubin, thank you for clearing that up. I appreciate it.
no problem. And you should start seeing in the next couple of months reports like that for fleet and property maintenance as well, since they're all using the system. So
we're also making progress on the asset management part that had been sort of behind, right?
yes, that's correct. Yeah, we are
Okay,
making
great.
some progress there.
That's good to see. Thank you.
any other questions for Mr. Rubin? Comments? All those in favor of accepting information technology report, say aye.
Hi.
Thank you. Number 2 is old business. There's no old business listed in the agenda. Do any of the commissioners have any old business or staff? Okay, not seeing any. We will move on to new business. We have several items of new business listed on the agenda. The first is a review of a presentation by Mantis Innovations regarding electric procurement. Township Manager Elliott, are you going to lead us in that?
Absolutely. So we need to enter into a new energy procurement contract as ours is expiring in December. Our last contract was with Constellation for 2 years, and we've been with them for a number of years. This year, we reached out to Mantis Innovations. Danielle Donovan is here on the call this evening, and she's going to provide a presentation. Basically, Mantis goes out to the market and provides a number of different quotes. So we've been comparing the companies that she provided with Constellation, and so far, Constellation is not as competitive as some of the numbers that Danielle's been able to provide for us. So we want to be able to take a look at that. In the packet this evening, there is a comparison between Constellation and one of the companies that Mantis has provided for you. And one thing you'll know is some of the numbers that Danielle's going to present are a little different because it is market driven. The numbers change very frequently, and the trend has been that the energy prices are going up pretty quickly. So you'll notice that. And another thing that you'll notice is in the past, we've worked with Constellation, and in order to meet our 2030 goals for clean renewable energy, we switched to 100% carbon-free nuclear the past few contracts because the green energy wasn't as competitive and wasn't meeting that 100% green renewable energy goal. But what we're seeing is that actually the nuclear option isn't quite as competitive as the green energy is becoming a little bit more competitive. And as the terms kind of get longer, the green energy gets more and more competitive as we go forward. So with that, I'll turn it over to Danielle so that she can provide some comparisons of the various companies and options and answer your questions. One thing I will say is this is a little bit more complicated than I had anticipated. So Danielle will be able to answer any questions you might have as well.
Thank you, Allison. Thank you for having me. Nice to meet everyone. I'm just going to share my screen just so everyone can see the most recent prices and just the presentation that I have put together. I'm going to put this in presentation mode. Can everyone see this?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay, perfect. So as Allison had mentioned, Mantis acts as a client-side broker. So we're going out to all the top suppliers, in the region. For this particular bid, we went out to 10 suppliers. I'm only going to show you 5 of the best options, but just wanted to, kind of go over the process. We do also work with Constellation. We did not in this case, as Allison had mentioned, but we're going out to all the top suppliers, going through those bids, looking at differences in contract language, what's included, what's not. and then coming up with a recommendation based off of, any changes that you might be seeing at your business, particularly any market trends, etc. So one thing, and what's up on my screen right now, that I did want to, make note of, and, many of you have probably heard of this and seen this reflected in your residential, home bills, is the increase in capacity that we saw starting in June 2025. And the reason I'm talking about this is because it is one of the main factors that are leading to the higher prices that you're looking at for this contract. So capacity is ensuring enough generation in the region during those peak demand times. And we saw, starting in June of 2025, compared to the previous year, power years run June to June, an 833% increase in capacity costs in the region. And this is due to many factors. Two of the main ones are retirements of fossil fuels and power plants, and the unprecedented load growth that is expected in the region from AI, data center, electrification, etc. So next, I'm going to go, over the pricing, but just also wanted to mention that in addition to the capacity, we're also seeing wholesale costs higher than they were when the township entered into your previous contract with Constellation about 2 years ago. So capacity and wholesale costs are higher and leading to the higher rates. Any questions on capacity or anything so far before I move on to the pricing?
No, thank you.
Okay. So as Allison had mentioned, these rates do look different than what she had sent over in the packet, because we have continued to see the upward pressure on pricing and upward movement in pricing week over week over the last 3 weeks from when that original pricing was. So the first screen here is the top 5 options. 50% or 100% green are not included in these quotes. I do have those on the next couple of pages, but wanted to show you the baseline and just really talk through the differences. As Allison had mentioned, Janice and Allison wanted me to talk through the differences here from option A to option E. And really the main difference for these suppliers are how they're treating capacity. Your capacity tag is unique to each account. It is read on the 5 highest demand days of the year, summer, typically July and August, everyone's blasting their air conditioning, etc. So option A, what they're doing is every year when new tags are reset and released by the utility, they would be passing through any costs, whether that's an increase or a decrease, to you. Option B, they have language in their contract that allows, if there is a increase in excess or change in excess to the tags, they can pass that through. It is not a guarantee, annual true up like option A, but there is language in there that allows for that. As speaking with Allison and Janice, not expecting any major changes, maybe an increase of about 10% in usage. So knowing that and knowing there's no major changes that would affect the capacity tags in an extremely increasing significantly. I think option B is which is Freeport Energy, which Allison had put in the package, is a great option. Option C, what they are doing is they are locking in the tags up until June 2027. And the reason they're doing that is because capacity costs in the region are known until June of 2027. The auction for June 27 to June 28 has not taken place yet. So all suppliers, including Constellation, are passing through any of those changes and increased costs because they are not known. So at that time, they would use your recent tags. Option D, same thing as option B, where they have language in there that they can pass those through, but it's not a given annually or a true up every single year like option A. And then option E is locking in the tags for the duration of the contract. Any questions on the differences there on how capacity is being treated?
Other than looking at the cost, which is there one that you're recommending or is more beneficial?
Sure. So we have talked about B and E on my conversations with Allison and Janice. B, because it is a little higher than option A, but you're not going to see that true up every single year. And then option E locks in your tag. So if you wanted that added security, you can have it, but there is a premium that comes with that. As you can see, you know, if you're looking at the 24 months, around like, you know, 0.3 of a penny. So there is, because you're not expecting any significant changes that would significantly increase your capacity tag, I would recommend, you know, not paying that premium to lock in those tags.
I was going to say, if I could jump in, I think one of the things we were looking at was a 2-year contract because of us bringing Lamont Community Center in online fully in June-ish, before June of 27. So that would affect our future rates. So that's why we were recommending a 2-year contract. Now looking at this, I think the last time Daniel and I had talked, the lock-in for until June 2027 wasn't in there. And I think that actually makes option C a little bit more favorable
Yes.
over B at this point.
Yes. So that is the main difference between those two. And the option C is actually a little bit lower than option B here. But when we get to the 50% and 100% green, their prices for that are slightly higher, but still minimally different. So if that, you know, is something that, you know, is, you know, something that is important to you, then that's definitely a great option as well.
So are these rates not the 50% or 100% green?
No, this is just no green at all. So I wanted to show all the options, all 5 top options, but I can flip to the 50% green right now.
And what do we currently have? Are we currently at 50% green?
We are currently 100% nuclear, which is carbon free, but is not using the green energy credits.
Okay.
And I guess the suppliers that Danielle had reached out don't provide that option. So that's why it's not always 100% apples to apples on this.
Yeah, like some suppliers don't even consider it to be a green option. So they're not providing it, but like option B did provide pricing, and their pricing for the nuclear was actually higher than even the 100% green.
And Danielle, these rates that you're showing here, or that you're going to show on the next page, they replace or supersede what was attached, the previous rates that I'm looking at?
Yes, because it has been 3 weeks from those rates, and we continue to see that upward pressure in the pricing, especially as we get closer to winter.
Yeah, it's gone up quite a bit in just those 3 weeks.
Yeah, we're seeing a lot of upward movement, not just in like the next 12 months, but those outer years as well.
And our deadline for deciding, is 12/1 a critical date for us?
That's correct, yes.
So this isn't something we can push off till next month.
So it will start on your December meter read dates. So depending on when those meter reads are, you know, we need some time to do the enrollment. My recommendation would be sooner than later to ensure that enrollment goes through with no issues. I can give Allison an exact date that we would need everything, you know, executed by in order to hit that, if that works for you, Allison.
That's correct. Yeah, that'd be great. Now, Danielle, if we didn't say choose a provider and, you know, by the date, what would happen? Would we just stay with Constellation? They would charge us whatever the going rate is at that point, or how would that work?
So you would go on to what we call holdover, which is a market-based rate. And there's typically a premium included in that because you are, you know, out of contract. Especially going into December, avoiding any market-based rate. And then in addition to that, a premium, I would highly suggest, you know, entering into a new contract before that. Because December, the winter months trade the highest. So December, January, and February, we can see, you know, higher rates, you know, than we're looking at in the spring months. So that's why, especially if we have a cold winter, we can see, you know, market settlements be high.
So Danielle, I just did a couple of calculations for a couple of these numbers. When you switch to the next page and show us the green, Do you
Mhm.
have the dollar difference between this page and the green, or just the rates?
So I'm going to show you just the rates, and then I have a range below of what it would be per month to do the 50% green.
Oh, okay.
So here's
Question,
just,
isn't there a separate transmission rate also with Pico?
yeah, so you would still have, you
So,
would have
so
your
can you
delivery
give
costs with
us,
Pico.
are you able to negotiate that? And is there an ability
Uh-huh.
to blend the two to get us what is a blended rate? Because what this is the electricity rate. It doesn't include the transmission rate. So I want to make sure that we have a full picture.
Yeah, so this is just your supply costs. You also have your
Right.
delivery
So
costs from
we need
Pico.
both to be able to make the right decision and know whether there's any negotiation that could occur within our relationship with Pico to be able to get a more advantage or favorable pricing, if that's not something that you folks do.
Yeah, your delivery rate through Pico is done through them, and it is not something that you can shop out. It will be based off of your meter class for each individual meter.
So now this is A, B, and E.
Yes.
But
So
we were just saying that C might be an option.
yes. So this was based off of previous conversations before option C came in aggressive. So I do have a comparison of how much C is, and I can always update this to include that based off of conversations tonight.
Oh, 6, 12.
I'm sorry, could you just, going back to the first set you showed us, that is 100% green, the first slide?
The first page was 0%, just whatever
Zero.
the grid is at the time. So
Okay.
it's not 50% or 100%.
Right. Thank you.
Would it be
Did you
possible
say the
that-
electricity provider is Constellation?
For
Is that what I heard?
currently, you are with Constellation.
And
These are different options.
So do you have a specific provider that you're recommending for us for the electrical service?
So option B is FreePoint. So that was one of the providers that we had discussed. And then if you do want to lock in your tags, option E, and the reason I'm showing this is just more of an apples to apples comparison to your current contract, that is UGI.
And who's
So
option C?
option C is AEP.
And okay, so none of those names mean anything to me. Can you give us your opinion, some facts on
Yeah.
it? Am I concerned with which one I choose as far as the provider's reputation, reliability?
Sure. Yeah.
And do we have a comparative with some of our, I assume you're doing business in the area, so it'd be nice to get some other municipalities experience in working with that particular provider or working with you folks. It probably has already been done, but it isn't
I believe so.
incorporated in this document.
I believe Janice had reached out to some references.
Yes, I don't know if Janice is on, but she has reached out to references.
Yes, I have.
And these rates are locked for that duration period,
So
regardless of changes in the regulatory environment or whatever with the providers.
So any change in law will be passed through, and that is across the board for any supplier. Any supplier contract is going to have a change in law provision. And then the capacity auction results past June of 2027 will be passed through because those costs are unknown. Same with the NITS costs in the region. So any unknown costs will be passed through, and that is across the board for all of these providers.
And just ballpark, the way I'm looking at the numbers, I think your previous sheet showed that we were currently at $10,354 per month. And again, this is for electric use, not transmission. These rates that we're looking at will increase our cost by about $2,000 per month. Again, just for electric use. So I'm just stating that so that the commissioners know that. That's a 20% increase, $24,000 a year. We could be looking at a little higher or a little lower, depending upon whether we go 50% green or which choice we go with A, B, or C. But that's what I'm looking at.
Yes, and the reasons for the 20% increase are the capacity costs and the wholesale costs being higher and projected to increase over the next decade from when the previous contract was locked in.
And just over the past 3 weeks, the costs have jumped that much.
Yeah, this is a time where we really start to see, movement. Over the last 2 years, we've seen upward movement. The winter prior to that, we saw a dip in 2023, December 2023, as we got through some of winter and we weren't seeing, things materialize. Things came down a little bit, but there's, risk premium built in for the future costs that they're looking at when the future wholesale costs when they're coming up with these custom prices.
Okay, and the cost to go 50% green is $200 a month over not going green. And I hesitate to ask, but if it was 100% green, what's the higher cost?
That is, and I can tell you with that. $342 to $409. So each term is a different premium. So that's why I have the range there. The longer term being the highest premium.
So I'm clear that $342 per month is above zero green?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes, the additional cost from the 0% to the 100%.
So again, ballpark, it's $200 a month to go 50%. Well, I shouldn't say 200. It could be 200. There's a range there.
Yeah, it was 170. Yeah.
Right. Okay.
Mr. Chairman?
Yes, I'm sorry, I didn't see hands. Yes, Commissioner Arman.
So just a couple of questions. It's a lot to digest, frankly.
Yeah.
And Frank, well, it's a lot to digest. I'm not quite sure what kind of choice we really have in all this. But my first question is, so in the past 3 weeks, we saw the prices go up significantly. We knew this contract was ending in December. Why weren't we looking at this in June or July or September when perhaps the prices were a little more steady, reasonable, and perhaps lower?
Excellent question.
Someone explain that to me?
Allison, I don't know if you want to. So I was not working with the township at that time. I do watch the market for my clients. So that is something that I do proactively for my clients, and the benefit, I think, of working with a broker. We could sometimes see dips at this time. So it really, depends on the timing.
Commissioners, we started the process probably later than we should have, unfortunately, just due to our time schedules and things like that, and our workload. This was the earliest we could get it done. We've been working on this for a couple months, I believe, but just trying to understand the process, working with Danielle, which is something new for us. So yes, that is where we are.
Commissioner Rappaport, one more. Danielle, is there a charge for your services, or you get paid by the
supplier? Yes, you'll never see a bill from Mantis. You'll never see it on your Pico bill, so you'll never see any charges from us. The supplier pays us,
and then you provide assistance throughout the contract.
Yes. So as a broker, I'm constantly watching the market for my clients. If there's any supplier related issues that you have, like a billing issue or something like that, we handle all that. We cannot handle the Pico delivery charges, but we handle all the supplier issues or questions, etc. And then just proactively, managing the contract, looking for opportunities to extend if you wanted to, or any recommendations or anything related to the energy contract and future contracts.
Commissioner Rappaport, and then I'll go Commissioner Arman. I'll come back to you.
Yeah, I was going to say, I think he had not finished maybe.
Yeah, I cut
That's
him
okay.
off.
Go ahead. You can come back to me.
I'm sorry.
All right, well, I actually was going to ask you about some kind of broker fee as well. And so you explained that that we're not paying you. I'm just curious now where you get your revenues from.
The supplier pays us.
Okay.
Can I just ask a clarifying
Yeah,
question on that,
yeah.
Commissioner
Mhm.
Rappaport? So,
Yeah.
Ms. Donovan, when you say the supplier pays you, it is, and I'm just picking a particular one,
Sure.
the 36-month option E, which is 0.09, is a piece of that going to your company?
Yes, yes, our fee is built into these rates.
I see. Okay, that
Yes.
clears it up.
Yeah.
So it's not really free to us.
No.
In other words, yeah. Okay.
Yeah, but
Thank you.
right, similar to an insurance broker.
Right.
I understand,
Yes.
but I just want to make sure we're all clear.
Well, so yeah, the other related question to that is then to what extent that has limited the options available in terms of the suppliers.
I'm not sure I understand your question.
Are there suppliers out there that we are not seeing because, excuse me, they're not part of the agreement that you have with them?
I mean, we work with all the top suppliers. We vet the contracts. We are very particular in who we work with. So there are definitely suppliers that we do not work with, and for a reason.
Okay.
So, we went out to bid to 10 suppliers, 10 of the top suppliers. There's some suppliers that don't serve particular accounts, even if it's residential tied to a business. There's some that don't serve certain load sizes, et cetera. And it's all regional as well.
All right. So
Commissioner,
the other question. Oh, go ahead.
I was going to say, Commissioner Rappaport, one of the reasons why we have been working with Danielle on this is because they were able to be one point of contact, reaching out to a broader range of suppliers instead of us having to do that individually. So,
I got it.
Yes.
Okay, thank you. The other question I had was similar to what Commissioner Arman was asking. I thought I also heard that the prices are likely to decline again in the spring. Did I hear you say that? And if you said something like that,
so
all right, well, go ahead.
During the spring months, those months trade the lowest, but that doesn't mean that the market is lower. Those months aren't as volatile as winter and summer when demand is higher. So I was referencing where those months trade. There are times that the market does come down, but then we also can see the reverse, like we're seeing right now. So it will depend on what's going on in the market. It's not just also wholesale costs. There's other components that do lead to price variation, ancillary costs, renewable portfolio standards. So as a broker, if we do proceed, and as your broker, I would continuously watch for opportunities in the market. I started this 10 years ago, and shoulder season, spring and fall, it was almost guaranteed that we'd see a little dip, and that is just not how things have been the last several years. Natural gas plays a huge portion or is a huge portion of the fuel mix up for generation of electricity in this region. So watching those trends, being becoming a large one or the largest LNG liquefied natural gas exporter in the world. So we're also, it's not just domestic trends that we're looking for, it's, globally.
So let me just clarify two more things. Then I'm done and we'll turn it over to my colleagues. So is it possible to do something a little more flexible, to have a shorter term to get us through the winter, and then be able to create a longer term contract at some time when we see more favorable if we can find more favorable rates. And it becomes important to me because I really support, despite the increased price, I really support our commitment to green energy, to sustainable energy, and I don't see nuclear as green because of the waste. So that's my question with my reasoning.
So if you were to look at just a winter price, it's going to be much higher than this because those months trade higher. So it would be a much higher rate for those like 3 months. And given the unprecedented load growth expected in this region, it is projected that rates are going to continue to increase. If we have a cold winter, it is going to expedite that even more.
Okay, thank you.
I'm going back to Commissioner Arman because I cut him off before. Mitch, I'll get to you next.
Thank you. I mean, it seems to me we don't have a whole lot of choice here, right? The prices are going up. There's not much we can do about it. If we stay with what we have, the prices are going up. The idea is to basically pick the least offensive choice. So other than us deciding to go 100% green, 50% green, or 0% green, and in that regard, I do tend to agree with Commissioner Rappaport that I value our purchase of green energy at 100%. What recommendation does the team, whether that's Ms. Donovan, Manager Elliott, Ms. Salerno, or any variation thereof, have for us? I mean, what should we be doing? I'm looking at this and sort of understanding, but I don't know that I'm an expert in a way that I can sort of make an informed decision. So I think we have to rely on you all to really guide us that, option A, B, C, or D, or E, again, aside from the green pricing, which I think we can make a choice on. But other than that, what direction should we be going in?
Allison and Janice, do you want me to speak to this a little first, or do you?
You can go ahead if you'd like, Danielle. Go ahead.
Okay. So when working with clients and having discussions, are there any major changes? Because that will depend. Should we lock in tags? Should we not lock in tags? And then during discussions with Janice and Allison, we were leaning towards option B because there is not a guarantee that the rate's going to change every single June when capacity tags change. So it's a little bit more protection, but you're not paying the higher premium for option A. So that was the option that we were leaning towards, or that Allison and Janice were leaning towards.
And the drawback to the difference between B and A again? What?
Option A, every single year in June when capacity tags new tags are released, there will be a true up no matter what. Option B, it just has language if the tags increase in excess or substantially, then it can be passed through. So it's not a guarantee yearly change.
Okay.
What's the threshold? I'm sorry, what's the threshold on option B?
There is no percentage in the contract. But I did do an analysis for Janice that if your tags increase 10%, just based off of some conversations we had, given, usage at certain locations, it would be about 0.0015 of an increase. So not a significant increase. If you're looking at option B and E, where option E locks in the tags, even that, even if it was 20%, so 0.3 of a penny, you still wouldn't be up to that. I'm looking at 24 months here, that 9227.
Right.
Understood. Okay. Thank you.
Thank you. So to staff and to my fellow board members, this is literally the perfect opportunity for a purchasing consortium. Every municipality is facing the same thing.
Yeah.
There's all kinds of situations. Dan used the analogy to health insurance, and it really is a clear picture. We're not in this alone. And the fact is that bundled pricing with 5 or 6 other municipalities could lead. And I don't know if Ms. Donovan, Danielle, is in the position that she has 5 or 6 active municipal clients, that there could be some measure taken to try and combine those things, or if every relationship is unique. But I know this, it makes absolute sense for us that before we go with a particular supplier and a particular contractor, to see if in fact there's an energy consortium within the municipal world, in particular in this region, even if it's just in Montgomery County, and see if we could get an advantage pricing that participate. And obviously, if there's 6 municipalities in it, the spreads would make it possible for there to be better negotiations. I'm this to me, it's just very unclear and uncertain with where we're at. I think if we had this information a couple months ago, it would have made sense for us to start to pursue both this and look at some of the other options. Being pressed into a decision, to me, does not work in our favor. So I'm gonna, my point of view is, I'd like to see if there's anything of this nature. And Ms. Donovan, if you're the one who could possibly put 5 or 6 municipalities together and have a bundled pricing that would work to the advantage of all those participating, that'd be great. But I think that's something that we should explore before we move into a single player at this.
So Commissioner Ziegmanfeld, before I ask Danielle to respond, Commissioner-elect Emily Stein put in the chat that the county green energy presentation over the summer indicated that DVRPC was working on a consortium. So,
If I could add to, thank you, Emily, that's appreciated. I know from the Montgomery County Consortium, there is not anything going on as far as that's concerned, but we can definitely reach out to them as an option. But there's also DVRPC. The Montgomery County Consortium of Communities has group bidding for salt and other items. So that is an option that we can look into if DVRPC doesn't work out.
Even if we decide to do that, I think it's a great idea, Commissioner Ziegmanfeld. Excellent thought. We're still going to have to make a decision, at least for the time being, right?
right. Yes.
Yeah, and it would take some time to get something set up. So, yeah, we want to look at least a year or two contract.
Danielle, do you have any along with your other clients that you're working on? Are you working with other townships or municipalities in the area?
Yes, I do work with several.
And they're all doing individual contracts.
Yes.
Are you aware of any consortiums that any of them are joining?
That they are joining? No, a lot of the townships are in longer term contracts, so that would make it difficult to, purchase together because they're already tied to contracts that don't end, until 2029, 2030. It is something that you can, aggregate. It's a weighted average. So some suppliers' pricing will be, lower because of it, and some will be higher. So it's not always beneficial to everyone. Because it's looking at your load profiles, your capacity tags, all the components that the suppliers use to come up with these custom prices. I know there has been, other townships, not my clients, that have, gone and gotten pricing through the consortium, and their pricing was lower because it's just focusing on your particular load profile, and where, yes, it can benefit you if you don't have a good load profile to be aggregated with, other clients, but it can also work in the other way. So it really depends.
Other commissioner questions? So I agree with Commissioner Armand. A consortium, or Commissioner Ziegmanfeld's consortium, is something that we definitely should be looking at in the future. But right now, it's not available to us. I'm not sure we have much choice other than to choose one of these options. Danielle, you're suggesting option B. Unless I hear from someone else, I believe the consensus is the 100% green option, green pricing. And I think the suggestion was 24 months from our township staff as far as because Lamont will be coming on board.
I just wanted to add C is also an option I can add on here. If option E is out, those were the two we were focusing on. I can add option C to this and send it out tomorrow. It is only slightly higher.
And what's the difference between option C, Ms. Donovan? Can you remind us?
So option C is locking in the tags until June of 2027 when the new auction costs will be passed through. So that would, if you do 24 months, it would only be June through November. That it could change.
Yeah.
Why don't we go with a short duration, a 12-month arrangement, and explore all the other potential options instead of going for 2 years? It looks like option A, unless there's a objection to it, does not appear to be onerous to us to be able to, to make that decision.
Do we think that there's going to be a consortium up within the next year to be able to do that?
Well, there's got to be somebody that's sharp enough to see there's a group of, aggregating 20 municipalities or 10 or 6 would make more sense than doing it on a onesie-twosie basis.
Yeah, the difficulty
business
with
standpoint.
creating the consortium is that townships are locked into all sorts of dates, so people won't be able to commit to join that consortium for another year or 2 or 3.
One thing
You're
I
not
did
sure
wanna-
what the back out provisions are on those things.
But
One thing I did want to mention is, the projections, and let me actually go to the graphs here. The projections for the future years are increased costs. So the cost, the wholesale cost is just the wholesale cost. So it doesn't include all of those other components that make up the total supply rate are expected to increase. So a lot of townships that I've worked with have gone longer term, like I had mentioned, because of that. So while wholesale costs continue to increase, if you do a 12-month contract, you could be looking at, a much higher rate for the total of the 24 months than today. Obviously the decision and what's best for the township, but I did just want to point that out and just show the visual because the unprecedented load growth in the region, wholesale costs are expected to increase over the next decade.
what would you
Much
say?
bigger problem than just this township. And I'm not talking about just the purchasing and a consortium. I mean, if this is what the wholesale prices are going to be over the course of the next 8 years, I mean, something's got to give in terms of these prices, but not for tonight.
And should we be considering the 50% green, or are you opposed to that?
Well, it's a
I'm not
step
opposed to
backward.
this.
It's a step backward in terms of our commitment to carbon.
Aren't we at 50% now?
No,
No,
we're
we're
at 100.
Oh, I thought
That's
we were at 50%.
for 2030, that was our commitment to be at zero carbon energy.
Oh, is that what it was for 2030? Okay.
Yeah, I think we made a commitment and we should stick with that.
Okay. And actually the cost for the 50% or the 100%, that's relatively small. I'm going to just round numbers. Pricing from 0% to 50%, it's only costing us between $2,000 and $3,000 a year. And to go to 100%, it's over the 0%, about between 4,000 and 6,000, just depending upon what the numbers are. But so it's
And
not.
remember that that's only the cost of energy, not the cost to
the
health
transmission.
and all kinds of other
Right.
costs of not being green.
Right. No, but you're right. We did make that commitment, so we should stick to that. Danielle, go back to the previous page.
With the prices?
Yeah, with the
Yes.
prices.
Yep.
So we can stare at that one more time and say we don't have
Oh,
choice.
Okay, wouldn't let me just start there. 1 second, let me get there.
So again, you said option C was a little more.
Yeah, let me,
Okay, no, I'm not interested in looking at higher.
it's slightly higher. It just has a little bit. Your tags would be locked, excuse me, until 2027, guaranteed, June 2027. So if you're looking at the 24
But you said
month rate,
option B, our tags would only, if there was a substantial increase, they might go up for the 4 months, you said.
they could increase them when new tags are released. So
Yeah,
24,
it's option C that we're locked in and then may go up for 4
yes,
months.
for those couple months, yeah.
Yeah. Option B can go up. We're not locked in, but and there's this sort of nebulous concept of if it goes up some amount, then maybe we get charged and otherwise not.
But we're only locked in for, we're only benefiting, if you want to call it a benefit, a lock-in for a little over a year. And if you went with a 24-month agreement with B, it looks like that's still favorable.
Yeah,
Did I read that correctly?
I'm not, I don't think I understand what you're.
So the way I understand, yeah, the way I understand it is option B, we are not locked in. It could fluctuate, but we don't really know how or when or why. Whereas option C, we are locked in until June of 27, and then for the period because we're doing 24 months, from the period from June of 27 until November of 27, at that point it could fluctuate again in some amount that I don't think anyone knows.
So it would be based off of what your current tags are, the clearing prices in the capacity auction. So if it went up like 10%, I would say around 0.0015. The 24-month rate for option C is 8813, so slightly higher. And option C, or excuse me, option B, yes, there is no percentage tied. Like if it goes up 25%, then it will be passed through. I have not seen them pass through costs unless it's a substantial increase, but it is not written. There's no guarantee of that. Whereas like option A, every single year you will get that true up.
All right. What do you think about option B for 24 months? 100% green.
I'm going to say that I think we should go to 50% green. I mean, we're trying to find savings everywhere we can. And I think that it just makes sense if we're doing this kind of scraping the bottom of the barrel to get by in our budget, that we should be trying to find as much savings as we can in everything we do. And while I am sensitive to going 100% green, I just don't think that this township has the ability to do that right now. We say every dollar counts. I think that we should tighten our belts and make the sacrifice right now to go 50%.
I agree that we need to stretch every dollar, but the value of our commitment to 100% green in this situation where, as Dan suggested earlier, the delta is about between $2,000 and $4,000 for the year. I think I think the value of going 100% green, not only for our commitment but also for the health of our township, and being a leader in this area is money well spent in that regard.
And forgive me, Danielle, it'll only be $2,000 to $4,000 a year.
The difference, yeah. So the let me see
if she flips back to the 50%.
Yeah, it's 170 to I can let me see if I can get you the exact. I just did a range just because
$400 a month, that's $5,000 for the year, versus 50% green was about, if you flip back to that, it's about $3,500. Yeah.
In addition, may I just add this? the commitment isn't just the value of our commitment. Keep in mind that the Constitution of the Commonwealth tries to ensure the right of our citizens to clean air. And so it is a larger commitment than just to us. It isn't just about saving money, it's about the trade-off between lives and futures and constitutional rights and our responsibility within that context. So I see it as not the area that the township, as a government entity, in charge of people's lives and in charge of sustainable future, that's not something that we can compromise.
Commissioner Ziegmanfeld, are you okay with option B, 100% green for 2 years?
I prefer it be 1 year, but if we have to do it, 2 years is acceptable, because I agree that we've made a commitment to our residents and to the idea of sustainability, and I don't think we should back off of that.
Okay.
I'll get on board with that as well, Commissioners.
Okay. Then unless there are, I definitely don't want to cut this short, but as confusing as it might be, there's not a whole lot of choice. So I'm going to move on to new business 3B, and I'm going to—
Thank you for having me.
I'm sorry?
Thank you for having me.
Oh, actually,
you.
yeah,
Thank you, Mr. Donovan.
3B is approving what you've just proposed. So it's the
Oh,
same.
oh, sorry.
Yeah,
I apologize.
I'll say thank you to you in 1 second, Danielle.
Danielle, you can stick around for the rest of the meeting. It gets a lot more fun.
It's past my bedtime. My little ones get up early.
No, yeah, 3A was your presentation. 3B is my recommendation to the commissioners that we authorize the township manager to enter into an electric procurement contract beginning in December 2025, choosing 100% green pricing, option B, for 24 months. Any questions? All those everybody understood what I was recommending. All those in favor say aye.
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 I believe that's unanimous.
And kindly, Manager Elliott, put a tickler for, June, July of
Absolutely.
2027, please.
No. Better yet, let's talk with the Delaware Valley Regional
Before that.
Before that,
Thank you,
to figure out how we can support this consortium moving forward. That's what needs to be on your calendar for the next 2 years.
Fair enough. Good point.
Yeah, but so a consortium is something we definitely should be looking at. But either way, a contract of this size and importance, we need to see earlier than 2 or 3 weeks before it expires. Danielle, Ms. Donovan, thank you very much for your assistance. And my understanding then is you will be available, and we can reach out to you and work with you over the next 2 years.
That is correct.
Okay. Thank you very much for your assistance tonight.
Thank you for having me. Have a great rest of your night.
You too.
Bye.
Okay, new business 3C. This should actually be more complicated, but I think it's not going to be. So. Review of the proposed 2020. Yeah, we were just deciding on what did I say? It's about $12,000 a month. Now we're looking at, as Commissioner Ziegmanfeld reminds us, about a $60 million budget, or multiple budgets here. Review of the proposed 2026 operating and capital budgets. Consider recommending the Board of Commissioners adopt the preliminary 2026 operating and capital budget. And then C2, consider recommending the Board of Commissioners authorize advertisement of a public hearing to hear public comment prior to considering the adoption of the 26 operating and capital budgets at its regularly scheduled meeting on December 17th, 2025. So for anyone who's not aware, for those in the audience or the many who watch this on tape, we know we get a lot of people watching this on tape. The schedule is, after we vote on this tonight, where we are likely going to recommend the preliminary budget, next week, 11/19, at Curtis Hall, either on Zoom or in person, the commissioners will have their legislative meeting for the formal adoption of the preliminary budget. So that's one up. I'm stating this so that the public is aware of the opportunities to review this budget and give feedback to the commissioners, to staff, to anyone they wish to. That would be followed by December 10th. There would be a Zoom meeting at the regularly scheduled Finance Committee meeting. December 10th, it will be on the agenda to adopt the final budget. Tonight, we're recommending the preliminary budget. December 10th, we would be adopting the final budget at the Finance Committee. The Finance Committee would actually be recommending it to the legislative meeting December 17th, which again would be at Curtis Hall or on Zoom, where the budget gets voted on for its final approval. So between today, when during Citizens Forum or any other time, any residents have any feedback, please consider your ideas, innovations in coming up with revenue, expense savings. We'd appreciate it. Okay. Having stated that, commissioners or staff, any comments before we take a vote on recommending the adoption of the preliminary 26 operating and capital budgets? Yes, Commissioner Ziegmanfeld.
It's important to just explain to our residents and taxpayers, this can't be done in isolating one or the other. We've spent literally probably 6 months with multiple public meetings, private meetings, disclosures, et cetera, reviewing every single operating group, all the potential revenue sources, et cetera. So it needs to be done not in isolating one particular line item or area of controversy. It has to be done with the perspective of all the work and all the adjustments that were done by each of the departments, by our finance people, by the leadership of those departments, et cetera. So I just think it's important that we don't get drawn into a discussion or argument of one line item, a recognition that all this work and all the aggregation that we've done is for a single purpose, which is to try and manage and maintain not just this year's finances, but finances for the next 5 or 6 years. So I think it's just important to make that framing statement, because I think the work that's been done has to be put into context and not in isolation.
Well stated, Commissioner Ziegmanfeld. And as was just stated, we have done a very careful review. Township staff starts out over the summer meeting with department heads and reviewing the budgets. And frankly, any reductions, any adjustments that we make in budgets, whether they're cuts or not agreeing to additional programs or where we do not hire another person. All of these decisions are made with a lot of care. And as Commissioner Ziegmanfeld stated, it would be easy to pick out this item or that item and say, don't you value that service? We value the services of all the departments and the work they do for all of our residents. If we weren't under such financial constraints, we would be happy to spend more money in a lot of different areas. But unfortunately, Our financial condition and difficulties mean that we have to make very difficult choices and do a careful review. We're maintaining the services to our residents and working hard that any tax increase that's included in this budget is as small as we can possibly make it. Commissioner Arman.
Yeah, thank you, Commissioner Norris, Mr. Chair. I think that the point that you made right at the end there is something I wanted to mention, which is as I said in last week's address, our staff really dug deep here. We were facing the potential for extreme tax increases in the mid 20% range. And this board, you know, whether staff liked it or not, this board came back and said, no, we need to do better. And every department looked and sharpened their pencils at the, you know, at the request of the board and under the leadership of Manager Elliott and Ms. Salerno, and really delivered on the mandate that this board provided. But it's important to note that the reductions that every department and department head penciled in and delivered back for this budget was had an asterisk next to it, and the asterisk is that services will not be impacted, and that is critically important because our taxpayers and residents deserve the level of service that they receive from our staff, and notwithstanding these reductions in costs that were absolutely necessary to not overburden our taxpayers, the commitment from everybody across the board, and you saw it today in the Parks and Rec plans. You see it in the work that our public safety departments are involved in across the board. Continued services at an appropriate level, at the level our residents are expect and deserve. We're talking about trails. We're talking about community centers opening up. We are doing our best to deliver the services at lower costs. So we are stretching those dollars as much as we can, and there's a lot of kudos to go around. Manager Elliott, Ms. Salerno, and every one of our staff who are doing more with less, and it's very much appreciated.
Thank you, Commissioner Arman. And just one other point, after we recommend take this vote, Township Manager Elliott, am I correct that this budget will be on the website tomorrow or the next day?
No, it won't be on the website until the week of Thanksgiving. We'll have it out because we need to finalize the budget ordinance and the budget book. So it'll be out that week.
Okay. Okay. Then I will recommend the Board of Commissioners, not seeing any other questions. I'm looking. No, I will recommend the Board of Commissioners adopt the preliminary 2026 operating capital budgets. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. And I will also recommend the Board of Commissioners authorize the advertisement of this to take place at its regularly scheduled meeting on December 17th, 2025. All those in favor of the advertising say aye.
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 Okay. Since there was something on the chat, just to be clear, again, next week at Curtis Hall, 7:30, there'll be another vote on the preliminary budget approval. We just moved this to next week's meeting. December 10th, 7:30, December 10th, it's about 8:30, Finance Committee meeting. we'll adopt the final budget, and December 17th at Curtis Hall, 7:30, there'll be a budget vote. Okay, new business 3D. Consider recommending the Board of Commissioners adopt resolutions authorizing submissions of grant applications under the Department of Community and Economic Development's Local Share Account Grant Program for the following projects. And there are 3 projects, and they have attachments. The first is $1 million grant program for Curtis Arboretum Accessibility Project. So I guess we'll take these one at a time. Any questions or comments on the Curtis Arboretum Accessibility Project?
Can we just get a
Elliot?
description of that,
Yeah,
Mr.
Manager
Chairman?
Elliott, I was just going to say.
So
Can you-
this is a project that's in the works. We have currently have a grant for about $44,000, which is covering some of the design work on the project. It's been in the books for a while. We've applied to a number of grant sources and have had very small awards. So we're looking for an award to help us get the project actually built. So this is a project that would realign the driveways of Curtis, both on Church and Greenwood, to have better access and safer access. It would include a trail kind of going along the Greenwood Avenue frontage and Church Road frontage to the new driveway on Church, and some lighting in the parking lot, and a couple other improvements to help get people from that Church and Greenwood intersection up into the park. So it would help improve not only access both for people and vehicles to the site, but also improve circulation throughout the project as well, or the property, excuse me.
And is there a
Question on
matching?
that. With all the work that's being done at Curtis in particular, is there any way to kind of orchestrate or kind of co-design that, or is it already too late? And so there'll be things that have to be revised or changed in that process, which I suspect, because we have PennDOT involved, et cetera. So it's probably a difficult thing. I'm wondering if there's any way with at least the design piece, we might be able to insinuate, a need or two there and reduce some of the need of that $1 million.
So we, during the design process for the intersection improvement project, we tried to get the both of the work done, such as for the Church Road, or the Greenwood Avenue entrance realignment. We were trying to get them to help us with the HOP, so that the wall that's getting built would have that opening where we would want to realign the building or the driveway. And unfortunately, because it's a PennDOT project and it also had a Section 106 review, the concern was that it would have to go through that Section 106 process again and delay the project. So we have been in contact with PennDOT throughout the process, but we couldn't kind of combine those projects together, so they are separate.
I know what the answer was, but I was praying it wasn't.
Yeah.
Thanks.
Yeah, we definitely tried, hoping that we could do a double HOP, but it did not work.
Commissioner Rappaport?
But please clarify, because I thought that it was determined that the trail entrance from that intersection is still going to be open, right?
Yes, there is a break in the wall at the intersection at that corner. Yes.
So the pedestrians have, that was always the major issue, that there was no way that neighbors could get access because of the dangers of Church Road, and because of the widening now, it makes it even harder. So with the intersection, with the pedestrian signaling, they will be able to access that part of the Arboretum and then take the trails in, right?
Yes. Yes. So PennDOT is putting kind of an ADA ramp and platform landing at that corner, and then our project would get them into the park through a trail system. Yes.
Is there a matching requirement?
I don't believe there is one for the LSA.
Okay. Other questions on this? Then I will move to recommend this to the full board next week, authorizing the submission of the $1 million grant for Curtis Arboretum accessibility project. All those in favor say aye.
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 Thank you. Any opposed, abstaining? No. Okay, the second one is $1 million for Rowland Community Center improvements, phase 2. Where's phase 1? Manager Elliott?
So we were fortunate enough to receive a $1 million grant through this LSA program for Rowland Community Center. So that's phase 1. This is phase 2. So we're going to just keep applying for grants in order to put something together in order to get the project done. We've also applied for a RACP grant as well a couple months ago. So we hope to be able to put these grants together in order to get as much of the renovation project done.
How much time do we have on the first grant to use?
We have 3 years, so we should be able to put them together quickly. So we were planning to start design next year.
Commissioner
Could you
Ziegler?
characterize or talk about the phase 2 enhancements that are different and above and beyond the phase 1 portion, the first $1 million that we have received?
We will, yes.
So we can't yet.
It hasn't been written yet, but yes, it will be distinct when the grant gets done in the next week.
Okay.
Okay, all those in favor of recommending this $1 million grant for Rowland Community Center improvements, say aye.
Aye.
And last but not least, a $1 million grant for Glenside Pool.
Yes, so this is probably one of the few sources that I think will fund pools. And it's probably one of the largest pots. So in order to keep moving forward with our facilities plan, we'll submit an application and see how far it gets for us. We do have improvements to the pool in our budget plan. I don't remember what year we put it in.
28.
But 28, thank you. So this will start that process. Like you said, it's a 3-year program. So if we're awarded in 27, that gives us a couple of years to get through that design process and build.
Thank you, Manager Elliott. And item 2 and 3 are indicative of our commitment to improve and maintain our facilities, and yet do it in a manner that doesn't put the entire burden on our taxpayers. So I applaud and appreciate that we are continuing to search and apply for these grants. And let's hope we're successful and keep moving forward, because we have a lot of facilities that need improvement.
Commissioner Norris?
Yes, Commissioner Arman.
I think it's also important to note that this funding comes from the state. So our residents are encouraged to reach out to their state representatives to encourage them to help us out with these requests.
Thank you. Any other comments from commissioners? All those in favor of recommending the $1 million grant for the Glenside Pool, say aye.
Aye.
Thank you. Any other new business, commissioners or staff? Not seeing any. Citizens Forum. We still have a couple of fabulous citizens who are watching. Any comments from our citizens? Yes, M. Hall. M. Hall, you're on mute.
There you go. Hi, good evening. I'm Marlisa Hall. Thanks. I just want to say thank you for all the work that you guys are doing on the budget. I appreciate it as a community member. I know earlier you had made the point that you did not want to take the budget item by item. You wanted to take it as a whole. But I do think that it's important, if there's something that you're hearing a large amount of concern from your community members, to still take that into account. And one of those areas that I'd like to add my voice to is the proposed cuts to the library. If there is a way to minimize those cuts in a way that still does not significantly impact taxpayers while still allowing the library to function in its capacity, I think that's something that, really should be taken into consideration. I understand that cuts are being made across the board. And, I understand that cuts need to be made, but if they can be minimized in a way that doesn't, impact them, and allows the community centers to still function and the programs to still take place, I think that's something to really consider, especially if, the proposed cuts are going to make a minimal difference to taxpayers, a difference of a $5 increase or, $10 increase to taxes for something that's going to kind of devastate the library system. As a taxpayer, I don't consider that worth it. So again, just wanted to add that to my voice to that. And then I also just wanted to add that I appreciate that, the recommendation to continue working on the energy contracts as a continuous thing instead of waiting until June of next year. Because I think it is notable that, we're 2 weeks out and kind of seems to that decision is being made kind of in the 11th hour. And from what I understand, it sounds like it's going to cost us about $24,000 extra next year with that option B, unless I'm mistaken. So I appreciate the voice to continue working on that continuously throughout the year so that we don't get to this point again next year. But again, appreciate all the work that you guys do. I know that, it's been a difficult year with the budget and whatnot. So thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Hall, for your comments. And speaking for myself, I want to assure you that and any cuts that were made, the cuts that were made to the library were minimized. There was careful review. Initially, there were larger cuts that were being proposed. And what's currently in the budget was our attempt to, as you stated, to balance all the items that we're considering and be very careful to minimize the cuts wherever it was possible to do so. Commissioner Rappaport.
Yeah, I'll just weigh in on that as well. Thank you for your remarks, Ms. Hall. In addition, with respect to the library, we're still the primary funder of our library system. We're still providing $1.7 million to the library system. And we're confident that, like all the other departments who have been told what their budget is, and they find ways to continue the level of service, in fact, adding some services, that the library management will figure out how to continue operating with the same hours and serve our public with their investment, with that level of investment made over, and really have full access to what is your libraries.
Thank you, Commissioner Rappaport.
Well said.
Okay, so continuing with Citizens Forum, Mel, you're next. Can you state your name and
It's Melvin Pitts.
Melvin, I'm sorry.
Yes, sorry about that. Quick question, echoing the sentiment around the library. I attended the meeting this evening, and one of the things that jumped out was that they didn't have a grant writer. They don't have a grant writer over there, and from what I'm hearing at the tail end of this meeting, there's a lot of grant writing going on. If we could possibly usher some assistance to possibly get some grants for the library to supplement for that $100,000. I am hearing about the library, it's only going to save $5 to $9, or what's the percent that is going to save for taxes for the public to pay taxes on that? I think it's a small percent of that, $100,000. I think we should, if we're going to cut back from the library, usher some, help out with some grant writing over there. They don't have the assistance over there to do so.
Thank you for your comments. And I'll just add that I think I heard that the state was about to approve the budget finally after many months of not having a state budget. So as Commissioner Arman stated earlier, I would encourage all of our residents to reach out to our state representative, our state senator, and frankly, any others that they know, and ask if there's additional funding. The state of Pennsylvania did not give any additional dollars to our library system this year. And I know in the past, State Senator Haywood has been successful in getting some additional money, because I was over there at Glenside, I think a year or so ago, where a nice big check was presented to our library system, as well as some other institutions that he was able to get us funding for. So very often, our state reps can be helpful in obtaining some additional money, whether it's for the libraries or community centers or other needs that we have. Commissioner Cherico.
Yeah, and I just want to kind of weigh in on this issue that it's $5 a person, or $5 a family. Okay, and guess what? With the cuts we made to the police department are also going to be $10, or the Parks and Recreation Department, or the Public Works Department, or the Street Department, or the list goes on. And so for us for people to come and start telling us it's only going to be a few dollars a person on our bill, well, I think it's just a disingenuous argument, because do you want us to put 2 fewer police officers on the street? Is that because if we give the $100,000 back to the library, we're going to lose a police officer probably, or we're not going to get your trash every day. So like everyone is making cuts. And this continuous argument by the library is really getting me frustrated, because they're not taking ownership in the way that the other departments are taking ownership. And I really wish that they would spend more time figuring out how they can reallocate their staff, their full-time staff, in order to keep those hours open. To keep the hours where they currently are, and figure out other ways to make it work, rather than continuing to have meeting after meeting, trying to get public sentiment built up against the commissioners, who are, what we're trying to do is to keep your taxes low, right? I'm just so frustrated by this continuous campaign by the library to pit the public against the commissioners, who are doing nothing more than trying to keep your tax increases at a minimum, as minimum as we can. And if anybody wants to continue to pay, an extra, more money, let us know, because you can just donate that money to the library if that's what you want.
Commissioner Rappaport, did you want to add something?
Yeah, and it isn't even just the tax issue. It's what Commissioner Chirico said before. Each department and the library has its own set of governance. We are not the governance of the library system. They have their own staffing decisions. Their board, their volunteer board, makes those choices. And we're saying to them, as we're saying to the others, here's your budget. You can't cut services to our taxpayers. They are funding you. So without cutting services, you find in your management a more efficient way to provide the basic services. The basic services being stay open and give us as much funding, as much programming, as our taxpayers can afford. And we haven't seen anything like that. All we ever see is cutting hours or public advocacy campaigns. And I think some of that energy could be better spent, as the other departments do, making sure that the services are not cut, but that they manage their money better. That's our expectation of this meeting.
I think we're going to perhaps let that be the final word, Commissioner Rappaport, and well stated. Any other citizens forum? I don't see any, so I'm going to make a motion to adjourn the Finance Committee and thank all of my commissioners, staff, and our residents for sticking with us and for your comments in the chat. Particularly your comments where you were thanking us for our hard work on the budget. We like those comments.
Remember that.
That's right.
I want those printed and put on the website if you don't mind. All right. I'll move to adjourn. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Thank
Thank
you,
you
everyone.
very much.